my dear learners, for this course on turbo machines. In this module 3, we were discussing about steam turbines. So far, we have completed our discussion on theoretical aspects of steam turbines. In today's lecture, we are going to conduct analysis of steam turbines using graphical method. Before heading to solve problems on steam turbines using graphical method, I want to prove a very important proof. That is, for a 50% reaction steam turbine, show that alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and alpha 2 is equal to beta 1, assuming constant flow velocity where alpha 1 and beta 1 are inlet angles of fixed and moving blades, alpha 2 and beta 2 are the outlet angles of fixed and moving blades. Let us prove it first, and later we will take up problems on steam turbines which I will explain how to solve using graphical method. In order to prove this, as he stated, it is 50% reaction steam turbine. Since he is stating is a steam turbines are axial flow turbines, so therefore the general velocity triangle for steam turbines will be combined velocity triangle, which I have explained in our lecture 2, which we will be using throughout this module for analysis of single stage steam turbines. If I recall, we have the common base U and we will be having V1 and V2. Similarly, VR2 and VR1. Angle made by VR2 is beta 2, angle made by VR1 is beta 1, angle made by V1 is alpha 1, angle made by V2 is alpha 2. This you people already know. Apart from this, he is stating consider flow velocity as constant, so therefore I should take Vf1 is equal to Vf2 is equal to Vf. Flow velocity is constant, so therefore I will mark it as Vf. Here also it will become Vf only. Now absolute velocity is the reference to mark the base. We have V1 and V2. Similarly, we have VR2 and VR1. Take absolute velocity as the reference. Absolute relative is U, absolute to flow is Vu. At inlet, we have Vu1. Similarly, at exit, I will get Vu2. This you already know. The combined velocity triangle, which we will be using throughout this module to solve problems on steam turbines. Now, he has given the value of degree of reaction as 0.5, so therefore consider degree of reaction for axial flow machines is given by the general expression is static component of energy transfer by static plus dynamic component of energy transfer. Now, if I write this, I can write this as static component of energy transfer divided by work done per kg. If I substitute the denominator by using alternate form of Euler's equation for energy transfer, I will get the general expression of degree of reaction, or else I can also substitute Euler's equation of energy transfer. Let me substitute Euler's equation of energy transfer in the denominator. The static component of energy transfer is already known to you people, that is U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square whole divided by 2GC into, using Euler's equation of energy transfer, I will get Vu1 U1 plus Vu2 U2 by GC. This is because of the reason we are solving for turbine in which Vu1 or Vu2 are opposite to each other. Now we have the condition for steam turbines. U1 is equal to U, is equal to U. For steam turbines, flow is axial, so therefore U1 is equal to U2 are all equal to U. Hence, this will become 0. So therefore, the expression for degree of reaction will become now as R is equal to VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by 2 times U of VU1 plus VU2. Take it as equation number 1. Now since he has given flow velocity as constant, express all the parameters in terms of flow velocity. So if I do that, I will get VR2 square as VR2 square is equal to Vf cosecant beta 2. So therefore I can write VR2 as Vf by sin beta 2. So 1 by sin beta 2 is cosecant beta 2. Cosecant beta 2. Similarly, I can write VR1 as Vf cosecant beta 1. Now expressing VU1 and VU2 with the help of blade angles and Vf, I can write VU1 plus VU2 is overall length of the diagram. VR1 cos beta 1 and VR2 cos beta 2 is also overall length of the diagram. So therefore VU1 plus VU2 can also be written as VU1 plus VU2 can also be written as, so this part with the help of Vf I can write it as Vf cot beta 1 plus this part I can write it as Vf cot beta 2. So VU1 plus VU2 can also be written as Vf cot beta 1 plus Vf cot beta 2. So I can write it as Vf cot beta 1 plus Vf cot beta 2, which is also equal to overall length of the combined velocity triangle. Now substitute all these in our equation 1, substituting in equation 1 and simplify. We know the value of R is 1 by 2, 50%, 0.5, that is 1 by 2. VR2 square is Vf square cosecant square beta 2 minus Vf square cosecant square beta 1 whole divided by 2u of Vu1 plus Vu2 can be written as Vf cot beta 1 plus Vf cot beta 2. Now again I can take Vf square common, denominator Vf as common, and cancelling of 2 and 2 I will get multiplying u here. So therefore u is equal to Vf square by Vf of, we are left out with cosecant square beta 2 minus cosecant square beta 1 divided by cot beta 1 plus cot beta 2. Now from trigonometric relations we know that 1 plus cot square theta is cosecant square theta. So therefore 1 plus cot square beta is nothing but cosecant square beta. Now substitute cosecant square beta as 1 plus cot square beta. If I substitute 1 plus cot square beta, I will get 1 plus cot square beta 2 minus 1 minus cot square beta 1. So therefore u will become Vf and Vf square will cancel off. So therefore I will put with only Vf of cot square beta 2 minus cot square beta 1 whole divided by cot beta 1 plus cot beta 2. So this is the from a square minus b square. I can write it as a plus b into a minus b, a plus b, a plus b. I cancel off, I left out only with a minus b. So therefore finally I can write it as u is equal to cot beta 2 minus cot beta 1. Take it as equation number 2. Now with the help of equation 2 I can prove that beta 2 is equal to alpha 1 and beta 1 is equal to alpha 2. Now, in order to prove beta 2 is equal to alpha 1 and beta 1 is equal to alpha 2, so keep one constant and replace what I want to prove here. So let me take beta 2 constant for first case. I will take beta 2 and alpha 2 first. So therefore, if I write cot beta 2, so cot beta 2 will be cot theta is adjacent by opposite. So therefore, cot beta 2 will be u plus vu2, u plus vu2 by opposite is vf. Similarly, cot alpha 2 will become adjacent is vu2, opposite is vf. So now cot beta 2 minus cot alpha 2. So therefore, let me write cot beta 2 minus cot alpha 2. Cot beta 2 minus cot alpha 2 is equal to vf is LCM. If I take vf as LCM, I will get u plus vu2 minus vu2 by vf. So therefore, u is equal to vf of cot beta 2 minus cot alpha 2. Take this as equation 3. Now compare equation 2 and 3. Comparing equation 2 and equation 3, I can write it as beta 1 is equal to alpha 2. Now, in the next case, in order to prove alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, let me take alpha 1 and beta 1. So now consider alpha 1 and beta 1. So now I want cot alpha 1 and cot beta 1. So therefore, cot alpha 1 from the diagram can be written as cot alpha 1. Cot alpha 1 is adjacent by opposite, that is vu1 by vf. Cot beta 1, cot beta 1 is adjacent is vu1 minus u divided by vf. So what I want is cot alpha 1 minus cot beta 1. So therefore, cot alpha 1 minus cot beta 1 can be written as vf. I can take it as LCM. If we take vf as LCM, I will get vu1 minus vu1 plus u. So cancelling of vu1, I can write cot alpha 1 minus cot beta 1 is equal to u by vf. Hence, u is equal to vf of cot alpha 1 minus cot beta 1. Take this as equation number 4. So therefore, comparing equation 2 and equation 4, I can write it as beta 1 beta 1. So alpha 1 is equal to beta 2. So hence we have proved for 50% degree of reaction for 50% degree of reaction, axial flow turbine with flow velocity as constant, we can write alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and beta 1 is equal to alpha 2. So this is the required proof. Let me pause this video for a while so that you people can copy it down. Later we will solve the problem number 1. Now, moving ahead to solve problems on steam turbines by using graphical method. Coming for the prerequisites, the first prerequisite is velocity triangle. So this is a combined velocity triangle. In general, we will be using to solve problems. If in case the flow is given as axial discharge, if the discharge is axial, so discharge velocity is V2 is equal to axial component at exit, that is V2 is equal to Vf2, then velocity triangle will become like this. If in case Vu2 is negative, then the final velocity triangle will look like this. So these are the three possible cases you might get while solving problems on single stage steam turbines. Coming for the formulas, what we are going to employ to conduct analysis of steam turbines remains the same as what I discussed in our lecture 6 of module 2, which is the most important lecture of this entire course. Look back lecture 6 of module 2, that is prerequisites and velocity triangles, once again to refresh your basics, and with the knowledge of formulas for analysis of turbines, combined velocity triangle to conduct analysis on steam turbines, let us solve our first problem on steam turbine. The first problem on steam turbine states that steam emerges from the nozzle of a D-level turbine. Let me list the data given for first problem. The question bank is attached in the link given in the description below this video. Kindly click on the link given in the description to download the question bank. For that question bank, I will be giving the answers. The problem number 1 of our discussion states that steam emerges from the nozzle of a D-level turbine. So, he is stating that it is a D-level turbine. As you all know, D-level turbine is an example for impulse steam turbine. Impulse steam turbine. So therefore, degree of reaction is 0. With a velocity. So entry velocity is given. V1 is 1000 meters per second. The nozzle angle, inlet nozzle angle is given as 20 degrees. The blade velocity is 400 meters per second. That is u, tangential speed of the rotor, which is 400 meters per second, and blades are equiangular. Since blades are equiangular, beta 1 is equal to beta 2. Assume the mass flow rate of, says given the mass flow rate of 1000 kg per hour. And friction coefficient K, that is VR2 by VR1 is equal to 0.8, and nozzle efficiency of nozzle is 0.95. Calculate blade angles, that is beta 1, beta 2. Axial thrust FA, work done per kg of steam, power developed, blade efficiency, and finally stage efficiency. Let us solve this problem. Now, in order to solve the problem by graphical method, the base is U. U is the base. So therefore, let us select suitable scale. First, select a suitable scale. Always fix the base to 5 centimeters. As big the scale you take, the error will be minimum. As small the scale you take, the error will keep on accumulating and the answer deviates from the exact value. So therefore, take scale as big as possible. So if I fix U to 4 centimeters, then V1 is 10 centimeters. So I can accompany 10 centimeter. So therefore I will take scale as 1 centimeter is equal to 100 meters per second. Let me take the scale as 1 centimeter is equal to 100 meters per second. So now u will become 4 centimeters. So lay down the base as 4 centimeters. So I have drawn u to 4 centimeters. Now we know the value of alpha 1 and v1. So alpha 1 is marked at the right corner of u and v1 is also known. First mark alpha 1 as 20 degrees. Marking alpha 1 as 20 degrees. Draw v1 which is 1010 centimeters. Draw a line to a length of 10 centimeters. So thereby I have drawn v1 to an angle of alpha 1. So this is the given data. Let me solve by using different chalk to differentiate the solution. So now I have drawn the inlet data given. I laid down u to 4 centimeters, alpha 20 degree mark, and drawn v1 for 10 centimeters. Now if you observe, if I drop from the tip of v1 to base, I will get vf1, and from the tip if I join the left corner of u, I will get vr1. So this is vr1 and vr2. vr1 and vr2. So therefore if I join, I will get vr1, and if I drop perpendicular, I will get vf. Let me mark it as a, b and c. This is vr1, this is beta 1, this is vf1. Let us take it as O. From O to D, if I measure, I will get VU1. So this completes the inlet velocity triangle. So now let us calculate the values. So VR1 is equal to line length AC into scale. So if I measure, I will get the line length as 6.3 centimeters into scale is 100. Coming for VF1 is equal to line length AB into scale. Line length AB is 3.5 into scale is 100. And if I measure VU1 9.1 centimeters line length DO into scale, which is 9.1 centimeters into 100. So therefore I will get 630 meters per second for VR1, 350 meters per second for VF1, and 910 meters per second for VU1. Now he has given a hint that beta 1 is equal to beta 2. So therefore if I measure beta 1, I will get the value of beta 2. Measuring beta 1, I will get beta 1 as 32.5 degrees. Which is equal to beta given, and also we have VR2 by VR1. So therefore VR2 by VR1 is equal to K. Hence I will get VR2 as 0.8 times 630. That is 0.8 into 630 is equal to 504 meter per second. Now I can complete the exit velocity triangle with the help of beta 2 and VR2. So we have calculated beta 2, we know VR2. I should lay down beta 2 VR2 to the left corner of U. So from here I should measure beta 2 and lay down VR2. So let me do that. Mark 32.5 degrees first. Now at an angle of 32.5 degree, draw VR2, which is 5 centimeters. So thereby I have marked VR2 and beta 2. Now if you observe the velocity triangle joining from the peak to right corner of U, I will get V2, dropping perpendicular I will get VF2. So therefore from the peak if I join V2 and if I drop perpendicular I will get VF2. Join the base. This is VF2 and this is V2. So if I measure I will get alpha 2. From here to here we have VU2. Let me mark this as B and E. So now if I calculate, I will get V2 as V2 is equal to line length OD into scale. VF2 is equal to line length DE into scale, and finally we have VU2 is equal to line length OE into scale. So if I measure, I will get V2 as 2.25 centimeters into 100, which is equal to 225 meters per second. If I measure VF2, I will get VF2 as 2.3 centimeters, 230 meters per second, and VU2 as 0.5 centimeters meters per second. So this completes all the velocities and angles. Now we can calculate whatever he has asked. So solving one by one, we'll get the first parameter is axial thrust. Axial thrust is given by m dot into Vf1 minus Vf2. M dot is given as 1000 kg per hour, so therefore it is 1000 by 3600 into Vf1. From the velocity triangle we found it as 350 minus Vf2 is 230. If I calculate, I will get 350 minus 230 into 1000 by 3600, which is turning out to be 33 newtons. And next he has asked work done per kg. Work done per kg is equal to U of Vu1 plus Vu2 by Gc. U is given 400. Vu1 is calculated as 910 plus Vu2 is 50 divided by 1, which is turning out to be 400 into 960. I'll get and divide by 1000 to get it in kilojoules per kg. We get it as 384 kilojoules per kg. Next we have power developed. Power developed P is equal to m dot into work done per kg. So therefore power developed is equal to m dot is 1000 by 3600 into work done per kg is 384 kilojoules per kg. So therefore power developed in kilowatts 106.7 kilowatts. Coming for blade efficiency, blade efficiency is equal to work done per kg divided by energy supplied per kg. For impulse turbine it is U of Vu1 plus Vu2 divided by V1 square by 2. So if I solve, I will get 2 times U is 400 given into 960 is Vu1 plus Vu2 divided by V1 square is 1000 square. So blade efficiency is 76.8%. Hence finally we have stage efficiency. Stage efficiency is equal to blade efficiency into nozzle efficiency. Blade efficiency is 0.768, nozzle efficiency is 0.95. Hence we get stage efficiency as 72.96. I can take it as 73%. So this is the solution for the given problem. The same problem I solved using analytical method in our lecture 9 of module 2. If you want, you can solve by analytical method also. So this is how you should solve using graphical method. In our next lecture, I will take up few more problems on graphical method to solve problems on steam turbines. The answer what I got deviates a little bit from the exact answers, but if you solve using graphical method, it is very easier compared to your analytical approach, and the answers will deviate minutely from one another. This is because of the reason error in measurements. What we do, as small the scale you take, as accurate the answer you will get. If I take 1 centimeter is equal to 50 meters per second, then I might get more accurate results. So therefore, try to take as least possible scale that is possible to solve on your graph sheet. Kindly solve this problem on graph sheet to get accurate answers. Take smaller the scale as much as possible. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.